This social media endeavor is twofold. One is to push out rational ideas and good common sense into the irrational investing world. And the second is to find those few people in the world who are like-minded, who might want to partner up and invest alongside of us. I think we're in the latter stages of a business cycle, and this has been a bastardized business cycle for sure. And things haven't always made sense, and so investors like myself, who had previously been very successful, haven't always been successful in the early parts of this cycle. But now I think we're headed into a period that feels familiar to me. So I've been in the market for, I know I look very young, but over 30 years, I think. And it feels to me like the latter stages of the bull market. And in this part of the bull market is when I think the companies that we're positioned in primarily do well. And so those are companies that are cyclical in nature or exposed to commodity prices. And I expect to see the US market, which has been on a huge tear, roll over, and the Canadian market to outperform the US market. And I think the leadership will come from the sectors that I'm describing. And I think that when that comes to its fruition, where I hope to be finally selling the securities that have matured, that we've held and averaged our price in for several years through, going back a couple of years was fairly painful thing to do, but some of these securities were in depression-like conditions back then. So I don't know what the height of this business cycle will be, but given the lax monetary policy, it may be rather extraordinary, but I hope to use that opportunity to sell off several of these kind of late stage cycle businesses that we own. And then I think that the next iteration of our portfolio would likely be geared towards a decline in securities prices and rising interest rates. In our income area, for the entire period that we've been investing in our income value portfolios, we have had a high cash weighting of on average 50%. And we've had great performance despite that. But I see more of those securities actually being sold. In fact, we're tendering one of our bonds to a bid just right now. So through natural selection, we're going to end up with a very, very high cash weighting in that area, in that part of our business. And that's a nice position to be in. While it's more challenging to create income in the immediate future, we're going to be well positioned to take that capital, invest it in huge opportunities when there's a dislocation in the marketplace. And in our capital accumulation business, which I was referencing earlier, as these very cheap securities are, their value is appreciated and realized upon either through the market or through corporate events, and as those securities turn into cash, I think we'll be in a heavy cash position and ready to take advantage of the next set of opportunities, which again I think might have more to do with a declining market than a rising market. So this tail end blow off of the marketplace should involve, the way I'm thinking about it, as a transition from the outperformance of the US market to an outperformance of developing markets, which Canada is very highly torqued to. But it is probably the end of this again long but kind of wacky, bastardized bull market that we've had that has been very untraditional or non-traditional. And I would anticipate that value investing, which has had a long period of underperformance, probably the longest in its history, will be the place to be, and will have accelerating performance into the conditions that I'm describing, and will reposition itself once again as the premier way of thinking about investing.